something's coming, but nobody knows. Angels rage, they come down from the sky to fix these broken wings and to show me how to fly.
Here we go then, they are all into their grid boxes. The lights are on here in China. It's going to be Vexit leading us off the start, and he has to get to the inside for the run into turn 1 because it is very long near the section, and it's go time here. Vexit has got that run just nice off the start. No wheel spin from anybody, actually. I didn't see anybody having any issues, but somebody is being swamped here. He's going to have Carl's on the inside, Carl's on the outside. Chanakinchi is trying to stick his nose in the inside. He's actually lost out, and he has got himself alongside the Daniko, but he will have the inside line coming into it, and that's allowed Chan to stick there. Brownie actually getting himself involved as well. He's trying to get in between the racing points, which is done exactly. And if he can get a move done on Daniko, oh, this is a hard lunge into the hairpin. Oh, that was a very well stopped car, but that looked like it was going to be suicide there for a second. There's a bit of a battle here between Safso and Azia as they are drag racing it down into the final hairpin. Hard braking zone is needed here. It looks like Azia's going to try and stick it around the outside. He's not quite got the run of dreams. Although Safso looks like he's had a bit of a bug down. Azia is going to be on the inside here for the final corner. Azia has got the position as Safso decides to back. Oh. Daniko's made a massive mistake there. Gets very tail happy on the exit. He's honestly so good here. I don't know if, I mean, in fairness. Oh no, Tom! Big mistake from there. Gets on the curb, spins the car. Yellow flags obviously being waved for sector 2 and 3, and he is dropping down the order like a stone.
The braking zone for the hairpin.
Well, he can't because look at Daniko. Daniko's coming right down his inside. He's got so much more pace because of that toe that he had. The Brownie might still come down the inside here too. He's going to, he's keeping his nose in there. In fact, not only is he doing that, he might get the exit he needs. He just had no, he took it a bit too tight. He will still have DRS, and he has got more ERS to play with than what Brownie has. But Brownie knows the importance of the toe, and he knows how important it is to have the inside line into the hairpin if he can make that run stick. Gets a little bit aggressive on the exit, but we'll give him that one. I think he didn't quite give Daniko the nudge he necessarily wanted to give him, and he has kept himself going. Oh, pits. Here comes some idiot into the pits lane. Normal time. Zones! Oh, that's a mistake. That was very nearly a front wing damage there, but he's got the move done on Yonti, although it's a very late move there, and he's also looking to get Poppy. Poppy obviously is a sitting duck on these soft compound tyres. I get the impression Poppy's looking to take mediums to the end, but here comes Zones there, and it's going to be Yonti as well. Also in this, it's going to be 3 wide, all the way down the straight. Zones is closing the door on him. It might actually be very close between him and Copy, and that's still safe as houses. Your Copy's got the inside line. He might even get the exit and get the move back. He has on Yonti. Zones alongside again. They're still going 3 wide. Oh, that was going to be a disaster if they had done, but Copy saves the day by diving into the pits. Daniko will be so much faster. DRS wing wide open. He hasn't really got the ERS to play with. Safso's coming back at Brownie. Brownie's stuck on the inside. Daniko's going to back out a little bit early because he wants to make sure he gets the tight run through here. Can he get the exit he needs? Brownie's going to be held out here if he doesn't get a good run. He has managed to get that. He will stay P12. Oh, there's a bit of a nudge there from Daniko. He's got on Yenab, which is somebody's teammate. And you know the instruction's going to be Yenab must pull Vexit back in order to give somebody a chance at getting this done. But coming onto the phone straight, might not be a chance for Yenab to hold him back.
Yeah, he's got to try and fight him in the corners as much as possible and really slow him down.
Hold up. This is where Yenab is going to deploy everything. You can see ERS mode on mode 3. He's also going defensive against Vex. He's trying to squeeze him to the outside line. This is going to be better for Yenab if he can hold it. There needs to be no contact on the exit, otherwise he's going to be very clear who's going to get what. But some idiot, sadly, hasn't got enough time gained in order for Yenab to hold him. Obviously, but Yenab's still coming back at him. Is he going to get him? Down the inside here. He's going to try it. You know he has to. He's looking for the move. He just can't quite get... This is... Honestly, The sportsmanship award goes to Yena. Yeah, battle of the brakes. Daniko's going to be on the outside. Scary times for Zones because he knows he could get easily rotated. But I think Zones has done enough on those brand new mediums to allow him up to P8. Well, how many pair of eyes have you got? Because we're going to need a lot. You've got 2 McLarens going for 1 defending, 1 attacking. Camille has taken race lead away from Vexit on these 16-lap-old hards, and I think realistically, Vexit will not be able to retaliate at any point in the remainder. We did see, as you can see, a lot of cars on the back straight weaving because they know how important it is to get the temperature back into those tires. Every single one of the soft runners behind will be feeling so good because they were absolutely gunning it on that lap here to bring themselves back up to the back of the pack. Their tyres are as toasted as they need them to be. It is all down to Camille, who's decided his go time. He's wanting to get away as quick as he can. Vexit did not get caught out. Zones! Oh, he's got into the back of it, but no damage. He's going to get the exit he needs. Vexit is a sitting duck here. Where is Geton in all this? He's a bit too far back. Because he knows how much aerodynamical grip is required here. Copy looking for Vania. This is going to be a lunge down the inside. Have we ever seen Copy on the screen this often? No, because he actually has to do more than just use his big brain. He has to use his driving skill as well. Cuny gets moved on Vania to bring him up into P11. I accidentally just pressed the wrong button, but we're still good. Actually, Cuny getting a little bit of a nudge there from Vania. They're going side by side throughout the long right-hander, and that's backfired for Cuny.
What it was activate, so they will not have it.
Oh, he almost went up to Cuny.
And just try and get on the back of him, but as I was saying, no DRS. This is all going to have to be done with just slipstream and your fresh tyres.
This safety car has really thrown everything into the mix now to make this final lap absolutely insane. Everyone behind him didn't decide to go into the soft compound tyres because they are effectively acting as a brick wall for this man here, Copy, who's going for a move on his teammate. You can almost guarantee that was team orders because he knows the importance that this soft tyre compound will have. Yenab and Yonsi swapping places. They are on the same tyre, remember? And here comes Copy on the red.
Yeah, and there's no defence here really from Rainbow. It should be a really straightforward move from Copy, and he'll hope that he can get the slipstream from those in front as well to try and make a potential move into the braking zone, but he looks like he's just too far back.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's physically in P8 right now, but we have our race leader, Camille. He's coming around the final corner. He will take victory here. He started so far down, but he got it. Vexit will take P2. Zones gets P3. Geton gets P4. Some idiot P5, but he drops due to the penalty that he got, and he's falling down like a stone to P9. It's Brownie gets P6, Copy P7, Rainbow P8, some idiot P9. Vania gets the final point in this grid. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Rwagnation League Grand Prix here in Zandvoort. I'm Ben Raggy McConnell, and joining me in the caster desk is the legendary Mr. Hornbadger. How you doing?
I'm doing really well. Here we are, Zandvoort. Really exciting track. It's going to be a really good race.
Well, I mean, it's a circuit that I personally love. I actually find it really difficult to drive, but also the most rewarding as well, because it's such a nice flowy circuit, especially when you're coming uphill and that very quick right-hander. It'd be very nice. I'd like to see it. But this is the circuit we're going to be going on to. 2.6 miles in total, 14 turns with 2 DRS zones, one of which is just going to be a closing in, but the other is going to be the main overtaking opportunity on that home straight. Some people find it very difficult to attack. Others do not. But this is the driver standings. Get On is currently leading with a decent amount of zones. Who's got Tomek, and then Felix, Some Idiot, Copy, Danico, Yenab, Vexit, and Top Tom. That is your top 10. Racing Point looking pretty good overall. Same for McLaren. Huni, best of the rest. Yoltu's missed a couple of races. He's going to be in P12. Rainbow, Chanakinchi, Higgsy, Safso, Vania, Brooke, Yonti, and Dennis. The last 5 there, all having 0 points. They're going to be looking to try and succeed here in the Grand Prix and make sure they can get themselves some nice points to go to the championship. But this is a hot lap here, courtesy of Yonti. Brake when you see the shadow on the left-hand side. Get yourself right down the gears, gear 2, and then short shift up to gear 3. Get the exit just right. Do not lose the rear at the end, otherwise you'll be in the wall. And then turn 2 and 3 is very quick, and then turn 4 is a very awkward left-hander. You're going uphill after you've already been downhill, and now it's a very flat-out section. Down the hill, up and left, and then up and right, and then you come into a very fast, long right-hander. You only want to dab the brakes and then downshift twice. Make sure you don't go too hard. You want to just avoid these curves, but clip this one on the inside. Run wide, brake when you see the tarmac change color, and then just touch the inside curve there. Control the exit because you need it to be smooth. Come in again, and this time do not touch the inside curve at all. It will rotate your car. Get the exit of Dreams as you got the first DRS zone. This, again, is just a closer, as you're going to need to brake here hard into this really awkward right-hander. Clip the inside curve, sometimes even ride straight over it. Double left-hander, or double apex at least. And then you're going to be charging up to the second to last corner. This is the first here, and then you got the second. This is crucial because the long home straight with the DRS and tow being available, and obviously the overtake button as well, will mean that we are going to be pushing incredibly hard all the way into this overtaking position in turn 1. Do not touch the inside curb, okay? That's the crucial thing to remember, because if you do, well, let's just say it will be a very uncomfortable Grand Prix for you, because it's just a rotation straight away. Immediately followed by that, you're going to have carnage. If you don't get collected, then you may lose a bit of your front wing, and if that does happen, yeah, let's just say you're going to need a safety car to rescue you from this Grand Prix. Now, we have a slight delay, mainly because we have one of our drivers who's having issues with his internet. We've just tried to give him a little bit more time, but we have decided that he's just going to have to join partway through the qualifying session. That is Copy. So he may not be able to qualify, but we will see as we go into it. So, just a few seconds away from this Grand Prix. Badger, who's getting pole today?
I mean, you've got to give it to Tomek. Usually he's the man in the front. I would say it's pretty safe bet for him. I imagine he's probably going to want to start on soft tyres anyway for this race. So, yeah, I don't think he's going to be trying any alternate strategies or doing anything unusual. So, yeah, got to give it to Tomek today.
I'm kind of with you, but there are a couple of people that have really been surprising me lately. I have not seen Tomek race for a couple of weeks now. Oh, that may affect things quite considerably. The wet weather conditions. We are looking at inters straight off the bat. So yeah, the drivers are going to be needing to change around their setups. And whilst we're doing that, let's have a quick look at the standings. Now, I know that it was a bit blurred when we were looking at it in that little video there. So we acknowledged that, and we didn't have enough time to re-render it. So we've decided, let's just post it here so you guys can see it. As you can see, though, it is a McLaren that's currently leading both the Drivers' and Constructors' Championship, and the other McLaren is only in P3. Only, literally, what was that, 27 points, yeah, quick maths, behind Get Earned, and also very close behind Zones. Obviously, Zones has done a very good job of impressing left, right, and center. He did a grand old job in China, but as you saw in the video, there was an incident in particular where he went a bit too hard into the inside of Copy, destabilized Copy, and forced him down the order. He did get penalized as a result, and that knocked him really far down in the finishing position. So yeah, it's a bit sad for Zones, but at the end of the day, that is what happens if you're going a little bit too hard, and you have to just be a little bit more accurate when it comes to your races. The rest of the drivers are actually pretty bunched up. You've got Racing Point, who are literally right on top of each other. We've seen them do very well when it's come to their races. Copy in particular, like I said before, he is the Carlos Sainz of the RNL. He never seems to get any of the screen time, although last week, I must say, he really put on a show. I don't know if you can remember this, Badger, but into the hairpin, he managed to get 2 positions gained. He did have to then back out again at the end of that, but still, that was such a fantastic move from him, and I really like it.
Yeah, I mean, we would like to see more of him. Hopefully now we will. That he seems to be getting into a lot more kind of battles. So it'll be good to see. What I'm kind of keeping an eye on this week is just in these conditions. There's a lot of slow corners around this track where just a little bit too much throttle and you're going to be stepping out that back end, and it can be very difficult for your race because the walls tend to not be too far away.
Yeah, it's true. And the other point you've got to make is that this is actually very tight, very narrow. So if you find yourself in a position where you have managed to avoid a wall, there's not a lot of stuff that the drivers around you can do. If they are coming up into where you are still on the road, there's a very good chance if you don't ghost, then they are going to go into the side of you. So we shall see. Now we have got one racing point missing. That is Copy himself. He is having network issues, which you are aware of, so he may join us partway through this qualifying if he can get himself up and running. But I actually want to go on board with Mr. Tomek. This guy, who is on his hot lap right now, is, like you said, likely to get the pole position. That is our favourite for it. But intermediate conditions, I've not seen him racing these in a long time.
No, but he's a very experienced driver. I don't imagine it's going to take him too long to get adjusted to it. And, you know, Tomek's really good at looking after his tyres, and the part of the way to do that is to be really smooth on your accelerator. So that's exactly what you need during these type of conditions. So I imagine it's not going to be too taxing for him.
Well, he looked very clean in that exit there. This is an area where you can easily lock up. You can also lose the back end, as you made Dazzler demonstrate to us in that last race, if you can remember. His back end stepped out a little bit too much. He pulled away a nice little cheeky gap, and that was your position locked in the F2s. Obviously, F1s are a little bit of a different fish. You know, Oh, Tomek! Okay.
Big tank slapper there.
And the first time on the board, a 118.098. I don't know if that's very good. I've not seen wet conditions in Zandvoort before. We do have a racing point coming, which is Danica.
Not 100% sure, but I mean, 2.2 seconds faster than his nearest rival so far. I would say that as a banker lap, that seems to be setting the bar pretty well.
Yeah, he only coming to the line. He's gone P3. It's a 118.9. Somebody's gone P2 with a 118.7. Yonti in P3 with 118.9 as well, only just ahead of Uni. Vexit. Now, this guy, I have actually seen him race at Zandvoort in the past. He is very fast. Very, very fast indeed. So, I think he is going to be in the top 3 in my prediction. I'm going to go Tomek P1. I actually think Vexit P2.
Dennis is spun round. He's facing the wrong way.
Yeah, that won't help his race at all. He should hopefully avoid wing damage. He will not be going to do this lap. Back into the pits he goes, because he knows you need a good run out the final corner, and he's not going to get that now if he was to continue his lap.
Yeah, the good thing about the intermediate tyres though is you can actually put more fuel in and just do lap after lap after lap. So unless he actually did get damage, but I can't see any. But yeah, and Tomek as well is also in round in the same turn. So he's facing the right direction now, and he'll probably be coming back into the pits. So it does look like that that final turn is causing a lot of drivers problems.
It also looks like Tomek is having some network-related issues too. I've seen him zipping around a little bit. In fact, everybody seems to be having some sort of network-related issues, because I'm also seeing Samidia in the same position. He is currently at P5. His teammate is ahead of him by 3/10. Currently sat in P3. So it's 7/10 improvement that Samidia needs to make if he wants to be in with a contestant for pole position. Tomek looks to have really raised that bar pretty high, but there are still some people, one of which is Rainbow, who's out there right now on an outlap. He has, time and time again, proved he has got the qualifying pace. It's his race pace that's the problem, and his consistency.
Yeah, this is one of the tracks as well where, you know, it's so easy to make a mistake. So having that lack of consistency is probably going to be a problem for him today.
Lots of people doing multiple laps on the intermediate tyres, which is the right thing to do, mainly because, like you said, you can just keep lapping them because you'll get a fresh set of tyres no matter what coming into the race. But alongside that, these tyres do tend to take more than a lap to warm up. And the outlap, you're not necessarily going to be pushing hard enough to generate enough warmth in them for it. And according to that, that was Samidia on pole, but it isn't. He has improved. It's a 118.419. It's Tomek who's still holding pole position whilst he's on his outlap.
Yeah, some issues with this game, as we can see. Not that any of us are particularly surprised at that, but you know, gloss over that point, and yeah, we'll just, as I say, have to wait and see what.
Oh, that Brownie. Yeah, Brownie's had the same issue.
Yeah, Brownie's just had a.
Tomek and.
I don't think he's had
Dennis.
damage though. Yeah, so he's just spinning on, and now he's going back on his way. So.
It's looking pretty stacked from sort of P3 onwards, though. Look at that. 3 people within the same 10th. Chanakinchi has improved. He's gone 1:18.352. It's definitely not the fastest lap, guys and girls, I assure you. Once Tomek sets another lap, it should hopefully rectify itself, which, speaking of, he is currently on an outlap. Again, making a mistake. I don't know what it is about that area of the track. Everyone's making mistakes there. Tomek has actually lost his right end plate, so he's going to have to go round again, bring himself in, and replace that front wing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's going to be too worried at the moment with still being on pole, or hopefully on pole, if the game works correctly. But,
Rainbow!
Yeah,
Sorry, that was a massive tank slapper there from Rainbow. I thought he was going to put himself in the wall. He's definitely not going to be faster, I can assure you, but it is going to be time on the board. It's a 1:19.981 with his teammate Vexit, who I know can do much better than he has done already, on a 1:20.060.
Yep, and Chan here has managed to catch up to the back of Yonti here on a flyer, so he's actually turned everything down, and he's just, I think he's either hoping Yonti's coming into the pits, or he's coming in himself now. Doesn't look like he's trying to make a move, but well, he's not building himself up any gap, which you would absolutely need if you want to try and set a good timing.
Get on coming to
oh,
the pits.
Yonti nearly done the same mistake and lost the car in the final turn, but he's still going on and continuing round for another lap.
I just don't understand what it is that's causing these issues. I can't figure out, in particular, what it is. I mean, I'm looking at it now from Tomek's perspective. Maybe it's that downhill bump, because there is a bump on the left-hand side of the circuit, which would cause you issues. But surely by that point, you're already like gear 6. There's no way, even gear 7 if you're Vexit, there's no way you're going to lose the rear end there. But I don't know, maybe he's just getting a little bit too lively. Vexit has improved by 1.4 seconds, slots into P9, literally 6 thousandths of a second behind Get Earned, and more people are putting times in. That is Rainbow up to P7. Yeah. Oh, Zones.
I don't know if that's
an actual new fastest lap, despite what the game has been telling us. A 1:17.757. Tomek's gonna have to do something now.
Yeah, and I don't know if again it is just the lag, or if we have disabled the pit entry, like speeding in pit entry. But Tomek looked like he went flying into the pits, into the pits there, and I never saw any warning or anything come up. So either the game is just having a little bit of issues, or we've messed up the rules somewhere.
No, so it is a known thing. I think it's also been something in 2019 where you can actually, in qualifying, nail it into the pits as hard as you want. You will get a warning, but that'll be all you get. You don't get any penalties, I don't believe. I've never actually tested it where you do it more than twice. So I couldn't say for certain if you're going to get a penalty. But yeah, you can definitely do it at least once without any penalty.
Interesting. Good to know. Good to know.
Rainbow had another tank slapper in the same place. Everyone else has been having issues. He will improve, but that lack of ERS is more than likely the reason why he didn't improve that much. He is 1:18.465 as people are in and out of the session. It looks like they're all having some sort of issues with the sesh. And I've got a feeling I'm going to need to take a screenshot of the times, just in case. We come with Brownie, then he's coming in back into the pits. He's running out of fuel and he hasn't got an opportunity to go again. 6.5 minutes remaining of the session, at least from our perspective, because as you know, one of the main issues this game has is that it can't actually give you an accurate time at the moment.
Yep, and Zones is just, I don't know if he's actually coming in this lap, but he seems to be absolutely nailing it. And oh, he's just nailed it a little bit too much, as I said that. Back end stepped out a little bit, but he maybe I've only lost a tenth or two there. Let's see
He's
if he's still
abandoned
going. But yeah, it looks like he has.
He's turned his DRS off, and he's also just eased off a fair bit.
Cruising now. Absolutely cruising. So he's not going to be trying to set a new time and for this lap, but he might go again. It could come into the pits. We shall see.
I think realistically, if you're in his position, you come into the pits, give yourself a new set of boots, and then come out pretty much straight away, because you can do a good few laps. He'll have time now to go in, change his boots, come out, do an out lap, do a hot lap, do a cool down lap, and then do a final hot lap, and still hopefully be really far up the grid as he is. 1:17.757 is looking very difficult for most people to beat. But now we're having to see what Tomic can do as he's coming up to the second to last corner. Is this going to be a new pole sitting time?
Yeah, and just want to take a moment to appreciate Some Idiot. That's a really good time that he's put in as well to slot himself into P2.
Yeah. Tomic will get back into pole position as he was before with a 1:17.574. That is now a bar that was raised by Zones 2/10, has now been increased by Tomic a further 2/10.
I don't know if any rain is supposed to lighten up. It looks like it's supposed to be raining for another 50 minutes, so long after the session ends. But if it's just been a little bit lighter, because the track seems to have a little bit of a dry line at least, so it should be improving these times right until the end. So everyone who's still here can definitely try and improve.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna base it on the car setups. What I'm seeing, from this. I think everybody's gone for dry setups because of how hard they're pushing and how easy the back end is stepping out. This is likely going to be a dry race as Dennis is bringing him. Oh my word, he almost went into the wall there. That must have been a huge code brown for him. But he is in the pits. He's safe. In for a new set of tyres, although I don't think he needed to. Oh, he's got an issue with fuel. That's why he's in.
Yeah, it looks like Tomic's the same. His fuel is about to run out, so he'll be coming in. Zones is now out on his out lap, looking to. I think he's using the same. Is he using the same tyres? No, he's got brand new inters on for this run. So it should keep him a couple of laps, as you said, get him going to the end, and probably got time for 2 flyers and see what he can do.
Well, luckily, we've had a weather forecast come in. Cloudy weather throughout the entirety of the race. No rain expected. So, there is a possibility it may suddenly drizzle, because usually when it comes to the weather forecasts, they don't show you the rain. I've just been asked to send an invite to one of the drivers. Let me just very quickly do that. There we go. And we're back underway. So Some Idiot is the person who looks like he could actually join Zones and Tomic up there at the front of the field, even more so than before. 1:17.844 is a fantastic time. My only concern is if somebody has chosen if he's compromised his setup just to get further ahead in the qualifying. He has left the session, so likelihood is he's not going to be able to improve. He is in the pits anyway. His teammate is out.
To be honest, I wouldn't expect Some Idiot to make that compromise. He's usually so focused on the race, and he believes obviously in a good strategy that will take him forward rather than qualifying. So I think he should have selected the correct setup. Shuni's now coming round the final corner.
Here we go, into the line is Huni. He's going to start his hot lap. We also have a Mercedes, which is a Zones. He's already on a hot lap, so this could be the new pole sitting time. Like I said, he's got enough time to finish this lap, do a recharge lap, and then go once more. As he does cross the line, it's only a very, very slight improvement by 0.04 of a second. Not enough to dethrone Tomic in pole position.
Yeah, it's a slight improvement, as you say, but still got one more chance that he can do this with.
We have Yana bringing himself back into the pits. I don't know if he has wing damage or not.
It's one of the Haas drivers, Safso. He looks like he's had an instant. He's still got time. They can put in another one as long as he's not got any damage. And since he went past the pits, I don't think he will have.
Yeah, I've just had a quick inspection of the front wing. It looks fully intact. Maybe if there is any damage, it must be like the lightest of greens you've ever seen. But Safso is obviously trying to improve. He needs to turn his ERS off though. Oh, Brooke has been disqualified for parking in a dangerous location. I believe that is the Alfa Romeo that's ahead of Safso here.
Yeah, it looks to be. I wonder where he had parked, but honestly, it was looking like he was going to be starting kind of towards the back anyway. He had not set in a great time, but.
So I have some news for you from the stewards. The lobby will be rehosted after the qualifying is over. There are lots of people that are having issues. As you can see, people are dipping in and out of the session. So there will be a very short break whilst we get everything set up and in order. Then we'll go. We'll get a new lobby very quickly underway for you. But we still have the rest of this qualifying to go. So don't get too excited because Yonti, he is going to be looking to improve his already existing time of 1:18.676. And realistically, if he improves by 2/10, he's going to shoot up into the top 10, which would be great for him. But he needs to break 1/10 more to get ahead of Vexit. Then you have those that are sort of around the P4 territory, down to sort of P9. They only need to improve by 1/10 and a bit, and they can then start jumping up even to sort of P6 land. And we have one of the Ferraris coming to it now, which is Huni. See what he can do. P8.
So, don't know if you missed Tomic there, but he just went up to the 17.2s.
Oh.
He'd caught right up to the back of Safso as he was coming round that final turn, and Safso gave him a brilliant slipstream all the way up that straight, and managed to get him knocked down maybe a 10th or two just in that final segment.
Rembo is all over the place. He very nearly binned his car severely there. That is not good news at all. I mean, he's back in the pit, so his qualifying is done. P10 at best for him, but he's got his teammate out there who's currently sat P5. According to that, his qualifying is over, but I believe that is not true. I think when our timer runs out, they have an additional sort of 40 seconds or so. So we shall see.
Someone's just caught up to the back of Brooke Clegg, who's been disqualified, but the AI is just lapping around, and it looked like it heavily compromised him there on his final run.
Well, Get Owned is retired, and he's in P10, which is very uncharacteristic for him. Whether or not it's the rain that holds him back, he is looking a little bit uncomfortable, to say the least. We have Danico, who just crossed the line, and he puts himself 4 thousandths of a second ahead of Yonti, which brings him into P9, but he's just been beaten by Huni, who knocks him down to P10.
Yeah, and if you just look at the times there from Tomic and Pole right down to Get Owned and 12th is only 1 second. It's very, very tight. Obviously, Tomic's got a little bit of a buffer, but that everyone behind him there is very close together and in such difficult conditions.
So, of course, as mentioned earlier, we are going to need to re-host this session. But just so you get the qualifying rundown really quickly. Tomic is on pole position with Zonzer in P2, Chanakinchi in P3, Vania P4, Some Idiot P5, Vexit P6, Brownie P7, Yenab P8 with Huni in P9, Danico rounds out the top 10, and Yonti is in best of the rest. Get Earned is the point where we break the 1 second margin in P12 with Rainbow P13, Dennis P14, Safso in 15th, Hugo's 16th, and Brooke Legg in 17th place because of the disqualification. So, bear with us. We're going to very quickly get this lobby set up for you as swift as possible. It shouldn't take much more than a couple of minutes, providing everyone can actually join the session and enjoy the music whilst we BRB. Apologies, ladies and gentlemen. We are back again for the third time now. This should be the last. So, it looks to be that some idiot's network connection was causing instabilities in the lobby. So, we didn't ask him to. He volunteered to not participate in this Grand Prix, along with Chan. So Chanakinchi is not here. Neither is Some Idiots. We are down now to 15 drivers. That means that all of those drivers that are behind have been promoted up 1 position, which, if I remember correctly, means that Vanya is now in P3.
He is indeed in P3. Correct. It's a shame. Vexit there on P4 now. Yeah, it's a bit upsetting. Both of them had done so well in the qualifying, and now they're not going to get any rewards from such a good effort. But hopefully, we can at least have a smooth race, and that makes it fair for the rest of the drivers. And like just very good sportsmanship there from the drivers stepping out for having their issues. So we can hopefully have a really good race from here on out.
Yep, fingers crossed that the race starts somewhat normal. By that I mean we're still probably going to have the delay when the lights go out and nobody actually leaves off the grid. But we will still have a good chance at all of these drivers getting away cleanly. Now, it did start perfectly fine. The formation lap kicked off fine, which I'm going to touch wood when I say this, but is a good indicator. However, because China Kinchi has not participated in this restart, it's now a Mercedes 2-3. So I'm going to give you a chance now to revisit your original prediction. Do you still think it's Tomek, Zerns, and then Vexit? Or do you think it's going to be somebody else?
I do. Honestly, I still think it's going to end up that way. I think Zones showed us a really good start to his session, which is what he exactly needed to do, being on the kind of softer tyre, which is exactly how it's playing out again. Tomek is still on the hard, Zones is still on the medium, so he needs to make that jump and get that gap. He needs to build up a gap and try and put Tomek in an uncomfortable position, especially with Get Owned way down the order. He doesn't have a Zure gunner this race.
Yeah, and that's it. Get Owned is not going to be getting any sort of support or providing any. He's going to have to fight his own battles here to try and gain some positions. Now, he is quick, but this race, I mean, obviously, the race we just had there was a bit of an issue with he had damage, and it didn't allow him to really get a good demonstration of his pace. He has been dealt a lifeline here. He's now got a restart that he really very much needed to give him a chance. He needs to play a bit smarter, though. He's starting on these hard compound tires. You cannot afford to get any damage on your opening few laps, because otherwise your whole strategy just goes to pot, and you're going to have to go into another set of tires, whether it be mediums or whatever you want. You could go to another set of hards, but realistically, what are you going to get? So we are here then. Hopefully this race will get underway nice and cleanly without any sort of glitches and bugs or any other issues that we've experienced so far. Please, 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 Codemasters, let this be a great start as the lights are on here in the Netherlands. It's Zandvoort GP. Lights are out. And it's go time here. Nice and clean off the bat there. Tomek looks to have got a pretty good start, but I also think that Zones has got a better one on these medium tires. They're 3 wide in towards turn 1. It's Fanny who's going to be stuck on the outside. He's going to start losing places by the looks of things. Yes, he has. That is Vexit up now to P3 on these soft compound tires. Tomek falls obviously to P2 through turn 1. And I think now Vexit is going to really start to show his pace.
Yep, again, Vexit on the soft tyres. He needs to get in front of Tomek on the hard tyres. If he doesn't, he's in for a very difficult race. And it looks like he's trying to make the move now, and he's been pushed off. Oh, that looked a little bit touch and go, but he did try and make a really audacious attempt around the outside there, and I didn't really think there was anything Tomek could have done to avoid going into him there. So that's ruined Vexit's race, and he's now down in P15.
Now, I missed all of that, so I didn't actually see what happened. But the one thing I can see that is happening is Zones is pulling away pretty rapidly. Almost 9/10 already is the gap between him and Tomek. There is a lot of scrapping going on behind, though. The gap between them seems to be very close overall. You've got Dennis, who's in P9. He actually had a good start in the what has been a false race, effectively. He got himself, I think it was a P7 at one point. Now he's P9, but he's in with a great shot of closing in even more places. He's in this train. And there's also a battle here for Yenab and Vania driving all the way in towards turn 1. Yenab's going to be stuck on the inside. Vania just came a little bit too far in, I think, there, but he's going to be right alongside Yenab again. Think he's got the better drive. He's going to close the door on Yenab, and he's back into P3.
Yeah, it's good job there from Vanya.
Oh, Dennis.
And what's happened here, Dennis?
He's got wing damage on both sides.
Yeah.
That looks like he got sandwiched then, if that's the case.
Yeah, potentially. And as you say, he was doing so well there. He was moving up the field, and now it looks like he's having issues. But it looks like Vanya and Yenab are still having a little moment. So Yenab's not wanting to lay this down, and he's trying to just get back onto the Vanya again and make this move.
Yeah, he's... Oh, Savso had a bit of a tank slapper there. He was looking to size up Hugo's. Obviously, Savso is on the hard compound tyres, so he's going to be naturally slower anyway. But he also needs to try and stay in some sort of DRS, however that may be. Hugo's, who didn't get to qualify, he has made his way up to P11. Did get a couple of promotions due to the no attendance from Chan and the voluntary retirement, if you like, from some idiot. Danico on the back of Get On. Get On has had a great start into this Grand Prix. Bearing in mind, he's on the hard compound tyres. So to be in P6 on lap 3 is a really good run. Get On had a look down the inside there on Brownie. He couldn't keep the car moving through it, and Brownie did shut the door very nicely, very fairly. And so we'll stay as is for now.
Yeah, and I really favour Get Owned in this battle with Brownie here. You're both on the same tyres. Get Owned's going to have the DRS and the slipstream. So if he can just bide his time, he should be able to make a move into turn 1.
Oh, you've got Vexit all over the back of Safso. He's actually going to try and go around the outside. Safso did break that bit early, and I think that's the right decision because he knows it's just not worth fighting through there. You're going to lose a lot of time otherwise. And yeah, he's let Vexit go. Vexit's going to then carry him forward a little bit. And we'll see whether or not he can achieve greatness later. However, we have all of this battle going on. And then right at the back of the field, we have a little bit of an alpha civil war. Dennis and Brooke both had issues off the start. Both quite the way off the back of the grid. They need a safety car to bring themselves back into this Grand Prix. And oh, look at Yenab. Oh, yeah, Vanny had a very late move there, defensive move. But Yenab read it quite nicely. He's got himself back through. Should have this move locked in as Vania will slot into P4. Unless Yenab leaves the door open on the inside. And he does not. Good read from Yenab.
Yep, Yenab's done a great move there, and he's now just having to position his car well and try and build up a little bit of a gap and get himself onto the back Atomic. But I like that gap there that Zone's managed to get up there. It's 2.1 seconds. He's got plenty of breathing room, and he can just now run his race and try and preserve these tyres and do what he needs to do to try and maintain that position when it comes to the end of this Grand Prix.
Now, I've just heard from the stewards that the incident between Tomek and Vexit is going to be investigated after the race. We'll see. You have to stay tuned to the Discord to find out if any penalties are going to be applied to any of the drivers. I think ultimately... Oh, Danico's had a bit of a back tag slapper, and that's dropped him now down to P8. And Yonti may be in with a shot of getting him here on the home straight. He's going to need a bit of help here because there's also the tow and DRS being available to Danico, and he's much closer than you necessarily expect. So Safso is going to... Sorry, not Safso, Yonti is going to have to bide his time and maybe wait a little bit longer.
Yeah, but, you know, Danico's now back up to speed, so he's going to have to make the move work now. It's not going to be given to him on a plate. He's going to really need to earn it.
Rainbow's in this fight as well. Look, it's a long train from P3 right the way down to P10. They are all within DRS of each other. They're all going to have tow to each other. But it is currently our P4 and P5. They're actually dropping back a little bit. Yenab has broken a 1 second gap on Vania. We've gone past the detection zone. Oh, sorry, we're about to go to the detection zone. So there's going to be no DRS available for Vania. There is going to be DRS available for Brownie. Again, this is more of a closure DRS zone. This is to try and bring you closer to the driver ahead and then fire yourself ready for the home straight. And so Brownie is not going to pass here. He's going to wait.
Yep, and Brownie's, again, using that DRS as defensively as possible as well, because Get Owned would then have him if he doesn't keep that DRS. But again, Get Owned's just biding his time, keeping his ERS level stocked up and just running his race. He's already had a pretty good start. He's up 4 positions, and give it time and he'll probably end up, if Brownie slips out of the DRS train, I think Brownie will end up being a sitting duck to get on behind.
So Get On is kind of hanging on quite nicely here. He's not really pushing that hard, and to be honest, I don't think either of the hard drivers here in 5th and 6th are going to be really committing too much because they realise what they've got to do on this tyre compound. They have to take these tyres pretty far into this Grand Prix if they then want to move on to soft compound tyres later and then start to get pretty aggressive. Anybody who starts on the hards is almost guaranteed to be going to the soft tyres unless they've not managed their hards very well, and then they will go for the mediums, but the loss is just... It's not worth it. The softs are that much better. They just don't last very long.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see what the medium runners try and do, because they obviously have much more of a task in their hands to try and stretch those tyres out to make it until the soft tyres are viable. Otherwise, they're just kind of messing up their own strategy by going medium to hard.
Now Vexit, yes, he had issues. He was going for a P2 at one point. He's not going to be able to. Here comes Yonti now on Danico. Danico goes defensive to the center of the circuit, then comes back out wide so he can make sure he gets a better run through the corner. That's kind of helped him a little bit here because he still kept his nose ahead. Oh, there was a bit of contact between the two of them, but I think Danico will still be able to lock this position in and keep hold of it in P8. Yonti right in the gearbox of the Racing Point, but look who's in his gearbox.
Yep, Rainbow's coming to say hello now.
I mean, it's realistically not going to be an overtake through here unless one of the drivers ahead makes a mistake. We saw Vexit try to make a move earlier on Dennis. It very nearly, Safso, sorry, and that very nearly caused a collision between the two of them. Obviously, Safso opted to back out of that fight. I think that was definitely for the better. Oh, Yonti made a mistake there. That was almost Rainbow into the back of him or down the inside of him. He has lost a little bit of time, but nobody's going to lose anything here except Danica is losing that gap to Huni.
Yeah, just slowly creeping away now, and I don't know if... I mean, Danico's got the medium tyres on, so they should last a little bit longer than things, but he has been kind of stepping out his back end a little bit a couple of times, so maybe his tyres are already starting to feel a little bit of an effective tyre wear.
Well, Rainbow looking to send one down the inside of Yonti. It's going to be a nice alongside, but Yonti's just coming in a little bit too tight, I feel, and that has destabilized Rainbow just a touch and caused him to drop back into P10, also allowing Vexit, who is still in the same set of softs he started the race on, in P11. He's going to go onto the hard tyres, no doubt, in about a lap or two's time, and then this race is going to be very much, who knows, effectively.
Yeah, Vexit really needs a safety car once he's coming for his pit. That will kind of help him a little bit, and hopefully allow him to get a few positions back and start trying to fight towards the kind of high end of the points again. Right now he's just outside the points, just on the back of his teammate, and he's just given himself a 3-second time penalty. Ran a little bit too wide over that curb there. Seems a little bit harsh to get a penalty for that, but you do get the 3 warnings, so it must be something he's done a couple of times, and that's him being given a 3-second time penalty.
The DRS train seems to be ever raging, although Brownie may have had enough of it. He hasn't opted for the overtake ERS, but he is closing in so quickly. Even moved out of the DRS line there because he didn't want to actually go for a send here. He realizes just how important it is. He just needs to bide his time and just see what Vania does ahead. But he also has to keep very firm eye on all of the drivers behind because every single one of them is in this train. And yeah, he can't afford to be losing any positions by being just a bit too passive.
Yeah, but he did absolutely burn through all of his ERS there. He's now teetering on the edge of having none left, and Get Owned behind him is still in the 70s. So Get Owned is just sitting pretty, you know, he's already caught back up to the gap that Brownie had given himself in that home straight, and it seems to have only just hindered Brownie. It never gave him any positive effect at all.
But I think realistically, Brownie will be happy for Get Owned to go past because it means he can just sit in Get Owned's toe. And if he knows, if Get Owned is faster, and I'm not necessarily saying he is, but if Get Owned is faster than Brownie, Brownie can just use that DRS, he can just use that toe, barely even burn the ERS to really close in. I mean, he's burnt a lot here though. Look again, he's having to close in. I think maybe he's burnt a bit too much because he is going to close in very quickly onto the back of Vania, but he's more worried about Get Owned, who's looking for a move here on Brownie. He's struggling to find any window, and that's why he's fallen back into P6 and just sat exactly where he is. Maybe take a cut back here potentially? No, he can't. It's a bit too hard. It's an uphill accelerating corner. You need to try and carry as much momentum as you can through there, and yeah, he's obviously just not been able to carry enough.
Yeah, the hill itself will actually slow you down enough that you can utilise that to help you with your turning, and yeah, it just wasn't able to just get the cut back, but it's very difficult to try and make a move. Stick round there.
Yeah, Get Owned. Oh,
Brownie's locked up him in a little bit wide.
I don't think he's going to go for it though, or is he? He's going to be a drag race regardless. ERS is not being used on Get Owned. I'm sure Brownie's definitely using his. Bit of a touch between them that has allowed Brownie to keep hold of it, but look at this now. They are all gearbox to gearbox, and this is now becoming very tense, very difficult for one person in particular, Brownie, because all of this fighting is allowing Vanya to break a gap. Brownie's already been struggling to keep all of those behind at bay, and here comes Get-Un. I think he's opting not to go for a move again. He didn't use any ERS overtake there throughout, and he knows he's actually faster in this slower section.
Yeah, and I think that was a very aggressive defense there by Brownie in that other DRS straight, but it doesn't look like it's caused any damage, so Get-On will again just be trying to get his nose back in there and try and push himself to the front, but it definitely looks to be in Get-On's favour right now. The only thing that's saving Brownie right now is the DRS from Vanya.
Yeah, exactly. He's absolutely tearing through that battery, and it's not really helping him that much. He's done a lot here to break himself right up to the back of Vanya. He's going to realise, I've just got to get a move on now. I actually can't sit behind Vanya. I need to try and put a car between me and Get-Un in order to then do something about it, because these mediums are going to start dropping off now. They're at a point where the grip levels within them is not that much better than the hards, if it's even better at all, whereas Brownie can start to just cruise. He needs to make a move though quickly, and I expect Brownie to dump everything for this overtake on the home straight.
To be honest, he will dump everything, but he's not got really much to play with, so it is going to be in the braking zone a big late move, but let's see if he can make it stick. Vanya goes defensive and Brownie has to go around the outside. He's locked up his tyre once again, not able to make the move done.
I mean, it was a late move there from Vanya to defend, but I think it was just within that limit of what is allowed. Get-Un is obviously still here as a result of the fact that Brownie went for everything. He's burned everything. He's got nothing to really retaliate with later. He needs to try and just somehow keep Get-Un behind him and recharge that battery, but he's losing time to Vanya, I think, in the slow corners. That seems to be the area where Brownie's struggling the most. Get-Un is quicker, yep. We know that for sure. It's just where can he hold on to battery?
Yeah, Get-On's definitely the quicker of the two at the moment, this phase of the Grand Prix, but he's still just not able to get past because the DRS is so strong from Vanya.
Yeah, Get-Un, I think, is now starting to realise that this is a very easy sort of P4, I think we're looking at here, because obviously Yenab, Vanya and Sons are all going to be needing to pit soon. I'd probably say give them another couple of laps and they might check themselves into the pits. I highly doubt they're going to try and do a one-stop medium softs. Maybe mediums hards, that might be a good shout, but I don't think even a two-stop is better than a mediums hards. As Brownie went deep there into that corner, Get-On had a little look down the inside, couldn't quite make that move, and again, we're just staying as is for now.
I'm not too sure if Brownie's doing that on purpose, but he's done it every single lap for the last 4 or 5 laps, so he seems to just be going a little bit deeper into that, but then still turning the car enough that it makes the move going into the inside very dangerous for Get-On to potentially lose a bit of his wing. So it's having to make Get-On slow down, and then Brownie's angled to the turn so he can just stamp on the throttle and try and build up a gap. Obviously, he's not really got anywhere to go with Vanya being right in front of him, but it is meaning that he's not been able to get attacked in turn 1 by Get-On. Get-On would have to go around the outside to make it work, but Brownie's made a mistake here, and it's again just cutting off the nose of Get-On, and he's not managed to just put his tyre in there to make the difference. So he's just getting enough of an angle to make it too dangerous for Get-On to push his nose in.
I actually want to go and have a look at Brownie's temperatures, because I imagine that they are a little bit hotter than he necessarily wants them to be. He keeps getting onto the exits, onto the grass off the track, and that is going to affect him. He has a bit more ERS than he's had for quite a while, so now here he comes, and Vanya's gone defensive to the inside. Brownie's going to flick back down the inside again in towards turn 1. He's got this move locked in. Surely Vanya cannot hold him back. Brownie is up now to P4, and this is crucial because he has to put a car between him and Get-Un. He has to now break away as much as he possibly can, but with that lack of ERS, surely it's going to be a case of Get-Un now dumping his ERS to make a quick, easy move on Vanya and then dump more of it to then close back into Brownie.
Yeah, I think Get-On's sitting here smiling in his helmet now. He just needs to make this move on Vanya, and it looks like it shouldn't be too much of a problem for him. He's right on the gearbox, so all he has to do is just wait for that home straight, and it should be an easy job.
Oh, mistake from Vanya there. Get-Un almost goes into the back end. I think there was a little bit of a kiss there. Onto the gearbox. He's going to go for a move here. This is very tight around the outside, but I think he should be able to get this. It's all about the braking zone, and Get-Un is now in front. And more crucially, he's done it by just about hanging into the DRS here of Brownie. There it is. He's dumped a bit more ERS just to make sure he's definitely got it secured. And now this lap will be a secure lap. This will be a just cruise back up to Brownie using a little bit more of your DRS tow and ERS. And then Maybe on the next lap we'll see a move, but we also have Huni having a look down the inside of Vanny. There was a touch between them. That's Vanny getting destabilized from Huni, but they are back together. Oh, that was a big tank slapper from Vanny, which put his front side into Huni's car. However, yellow flag in sector 3. That is the final corner. Safso.
Yep, Safso's just went off from the wall. I can't see any damage.
Yeah, right wings in bits.
Yeah. Yep, it is indeed. So that's bringing an early stop for him. So just jump back towards this battle with Get Owned. And it looks like Brownie's locked up again. And Get Owned is just trying to get onto the back of them. And now Brownie should be a much easier target once he just rolls into that gearbox, because he's not got the DRS to defend himself with.
There is something else we need to pay attention to as well. So more battles are forming here as Rainbow's closed in quite nicely onto the back of Yonti. Vexit pit on the last lap. He's obviously come out now on medium, so he's going to take these to the end, or at least he's going to try to. There is also Race Leader. It was 1.8 seconds gap for quite some time. Tomek's tires have now started to come to life because the mediums are falling away and the gap is breaking down. 6.6 tenths away is where we stand. Vania gets a 3-second time penalty. I think that was because of the way that he entered the pits. That might be potentially removed, but hard compound tires on Vania. He's doing the mediums hards. Let's see if it works for him.
Yeah, he'll know now for the rest of this race his tyres will not be not have a wear issue. Vexit on the medium tyre, that could potentially be causing him problems towards the end of this race.
It really can, but look at Zerns. He's lost so much time to Tomek this lap. He's really been reeled in. I think Tomek has also spotted the weakness in Zerns and has now used that ERS to just close in even more so than before. And Brook being here will help Zerns more than it will help Tomek. The tow will be available to Zerns. The DRS will be available to him, so he should be able to hang in at least for another lap. And this is big. For every lap that Zerns stays out, the more chances that he has of going onto the soft compound tire. I think that's where he's going to go for here. Is Tomek going to go for a send down the inside? He had a look. He backs out. That's the right decision. And a black and white flag has been given to Get On for making unnecessary contact with other cars on the circuit. Here's P5. He is looking for Brownie. That black and white flag will be a very clear message to him. You better settle down, Sonny, because you may find yourself with some penalties.
Do you know what contact that's talking about? I don't actually think I've seen them have much contact.
I don't think it was for anything that happened recent. I think it was more to the earlier stages of this Grand Prix. Hopefully we can get a little bit more information from the stewards, potentially, regarding what that is. Vexit is on the back of Hugo's, though, and he's so much faster. He just can't find a way through. This is where he's going to have to go. He's burning all of that ERS. Hugo's is that little bit faster, despite how much Vexit really committed to closing past him. Hugo's just clearly is running 1-1 wings. Although Vexit's going to go for a send here, surely. Oh, that was very nearly bad move from him. Hugo's just keeps himself safe from the lunge from Vexit. But I think it's a matter of time because he's going to go for it again here, surely.
Yeah, Vexit's got this move done, really. It's just a matter of time. But that move there really saw the size of Vexit's cockpit area, shall we say. That was a very audacious attempt, and it nearly paid off for him, but you had to have some big stones to go for that move.
Get On has actually made a move here on Brownie as well, and that was about as clean as you could possibly get it. It was down the inside, in towards turn 1, before we even got into the braking zone, and Get On is now up to P4. However, this is great news for Brownie, because now he can actually start to manage his ERS better. He's already been doing a good job of that by keeping it in the mid-30s. And now he's got DRS and tow on Get On. He can actually just sit back, relax, and just see where we go next.
Well, based on Get On's dash, I think where we go next is the pits. It looks like he might be coming in for medium tyres soon. He's got the pit entry light on his dash, so obviously that can be ignored by the drivers if they choose, but it might be a potential that he's going to go into the pits this lap.
Well, the thing he's got to worry about is the longer he, if he comes in too early, he will find himself in traffic. Oh, Tomek, that was a big tank slapper there. This is going to really shut down this move he's going to have on Zerns. And I think realistically, Tomek needs to pass Zerns because these mediums are much slower than Tomek's hards. Yes, he's going to be able to look after his tyre wear quite nicely. That's not the issue. It's more the fact of, well, what do you do here? How do you secure a gap on Zones when he's going to pit. He's going to pit for softs. He clearly is going for softs. There's no situation here where he goes hards now. This is only a soft run. So give him another... I think he'll probably go for another 6 laps, 7 laps on these mediums. If he can get there without a puncture. And then it's going to be softs right to the end.
Yeah, Tomek will want to try and cover him off as they both go a little bit wide there. Tomek got a big tank slapper there, but Zones as well made the mistake. So, yeah, Tomek really needs to get in front or come in on the exact same lap that Zones does, because he's not going to go faster on the hard tyres and Zones will go on the softs. So you'll really need to try and effectively either copy Zones or beat him right now on track.
It's easier for Tomek here, because obviously they both still have to pit, along with Yanab and get on. But when they do pit, although Tomek might go for a move here, there's going to be a late lunge into turn 1, it's going to be so tight! Oh, there's a bit of contact between them, lots of instability from the two of them, penalties for drivers behind as well, that's Huni and Yonti, they are literally locked wheel to wheel. It's going to be Zones who will hold on to his position, Tomek who definitely got his elbows, and I think he even chucked a couple of punches in there as well. Into the side of Zones, will stay as is, and they've lost a good couple of seconds there to Yenab.
Yep, and no damage on either car that I can see, so that's good for them. It can allow them to continue this battle, but that was very, very hard fought from both drivers.
Very hard fought indeed. There was obviously some penalties being applied at the back as well. That was Huni and Yonti, I believe, that got penalties. We may need, in a short while, a bit of a penalty rundown potentially from yourself. However, we'll have to hang fire on that because looks to be another scrap forming here. Again, between Zones and Tomek.
Yeah, Tomek's got all the tools to play with at the moment.
Here he comes then. DRS and ERS being utilised. ERS is very, very low here for Tomek. Again, we're going to see Tomek going for a lunge down the inside. It's not a surprise. Zones has read it, and actually... Oh, a bit of wing! Oh, no! Ooh. End play for Tomek has been taken off. This will cause Tomek no end of problems on this circuit. What looked so good suddenly looks so bad.
And now it gets to a point where does Tomek believe he can get to the end without having to repair the wing, and can he get to the end from here on soft tyres? Because if he can, pit now, get the wing changed, and then try and just set some fast laps and see if you can build up that gap to get in the overcut range of Zones. But right now, Zones is sitting pretty to win this race.
I think if you're Tomek right now, you chuck yourself in the pits, but you go onto the medium tyres. It's too risky to go softs here. They just get absolutely melted. The temperatures will soar through the roof, and the mediums seem to be a better, longer-lasting tyre in this scenario. Obviously, he's going to need a wing replacement, so he's going to lose a good 8 seconds there alone, but he can use the fresh mediums over the period of time to close in more. It'll just be a bit more of a problem when Zones does go into the softs, because he will be...
Zones is coming in now.
Oh, Tomek is as
well. Came
into
the softs now. He is covering off Tomek. He knew that Tomek had to come in. So he's now put on those softs, and now he's going to try and make it to the end of this race. He will be a sitting duck for the final few laps of this race, but it does cover off Tomek. And now he has got the track position, and he just needs to try and run his race and hope that Tomek cannot catch him by the end.
Well, I think the other thing is I think Zones doesn't actually have to now. If Zones has got his race engineer talking to him, he will see and know that Tomek got a 5-second speeding penalty in the pit lane.
It's not going well for Tomek there.
Yep, it's
although
all shut down.
I actually did not get that on my screen.
CUNY actually just made a mistake there, going through that little hairpin, or maybe he got a touch there from Danico. But these brand spanking new softs, Danico's going to be a sitting duck. He's going to try and take these to the end, but he just isn't going to be able to fight anybody. Everybody around him has gone onto the softs and has managed to keep themselves very much ahead. So where do you go from here, Danico? What do you do here? Yenab on the back of Vexit. Vexit on 7-lap old mediums. Yenab a brand spanking new soft. He's going to go around the outside here. This is going to be very tight, very tense, and I don't think he's going to be able to make this move stick, although he's going to try regardless. Bit of contact between them. That's the question you got to ask yourself. Is it worth that gamble? Imagine he gets wing damage there. His entire race is shot down.
Yeah, it wouldn't be great. It would not be great at all, but this is the thing, a lot of these drivers now are just getting to the point where they want to try and make moves, they want to try and make something stick, and Zones has left the session.
Hopefully it's nothing serious. But look at Yenab and Vexit again going side by side. This time it's going to be Yenab keeping himself ahead, I think. I think Vexit will have to surrender. Yes, he will. Yenab now up to P5. And he's got a 4.3 second gap to Tomek. And I know for a very clear fact, Yenab will be very much aware of Tomek's current situation and scenario. Yenab should be in with a good ride now.
Yeah, but Tomek there, set in purple, Sector 1, he is flying. He probably realises that Zones is being driven by an AI right now, and this is his best opportunity to try and beat him and win this race. Zones is rejoined.
Yep, I just had to come in clutch and give him an invite. He needed that entrance back into the lobby. He has now got that, so he should be able to start contending once more. Brownie with a penalty. This is very uncharacteristic for him. He never really gets penalties, but he's got one now, and that will be a problem for him later. Brownie into the pits. Oh, he stopped in time. Get on is in. Brownie is in. This is going to be a very spicy end to this Grand Prix.
Very spicy indeed. And Tomek there with the fastest lap of the race, hunting down Zones for this race win. I'm going to throw out, if you do want a penalty rundown, I am not 100% sure if this is accurate, because Tomek's 5 seconds has not appeared on my screen as a penalty. So that might not be applied to the end of the race.
I don't think, I know from previous team telemetries, I don't know if it's been fixed in an update or not, but I know in previous team telemetries...
Tomek spun! Damaged his wing.
That is massive! He's going to be in so much trouble. He was trying to get back on the circuit, but look at all this time he's losing. He's trying to find the right way through. Oh, there was so nearly contact between them. He's going to just... Oh, no!
Oh, and there's contact!
Yonti's out!
Oh, Yonti!
Tomek with the mistake of coming across the circuit, getting desperate to get back into this race, causes a massive collision between him and Yonti is out of this Grand Prix.
Yeah, that's heartbreak for Yonti. You know, nothing that he could have done there. Tomek just came across the track and given himself another 5-second penalty, and potentially he's going to be going to the steward's office after this.
We've lost Vexit.
Vexit as well. What's happened here? Oh, final turn.
Virtual safety car has been called. I think it was very much a needed virtual safety car. I'm almost surprised we've not got a full safety car. And look at this, people in the pits. That's Danico in. That's Vanya in. These guys actually have looked in quite nicely here on this. What happened on that lap? We've lost 2 cars on that single lap. We had no retirements. And then suddenly, boom, explosion. Tomek retiring from the session. I think that is a combination of I'm going to get spanked by the stewards along with I've really done my racing anyway.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, it's one of the things where you know that you've messed up, and you do feel that that's a bit of guilt as well as just frustration, and now it's taking himself out of the situation before he lets his emotions run away with him and potentially gets caught up in further incidents. But this has thrown this race wide open. Geto, they're sitting in P3 now, Yenab's in P2, but what this does is it brings that 6-second gap there that Zones has got, and it's got a nice buffer now to everyone behind him. And if it was a full safety car, everyone would be nice and crunched up, but he's now got so much room to play with and no real race challenger for the moment.
Oh, well, the stewards are very much in touch with us here quite a fair bit. So the stewards have informed us initially that the incident between Tomek and Yonti is under investigation, and they've just now advised that it is actually going to be investigated after the race. I think that's probably the right thing. It's going to be a very tough call regardless. I think the timing was very difficult for Tomek. I think when he initially started going, I think he had enough time. I think the bit that he didn't predict was his wheels spinning. He spanned the wheels, which meant he didn't get the traction he needed out of the gravel pit. And obviously Yonti then just had nowhere to go. There's no reaction speeds in the world that could have stopped you from having that crash. And he hit him at such a huge force. If that was a real life crash, I genuinely think that'd have been a red flag. I probably wouldn't have been resumed.
Yeah, there's a potential for that. That's such a high-speed area, and it was so difficult for Tomek. He tried to go 3 or 4 times trying to get back on the track, but every time he went to go, someone else was coming around that corner, so he had to keep slamming on the brakes. And honestly, I think, you know, if he just stuck to his guns and fired across the track as he's initially attempted, it would have been okay. You know, it was a yellow flag sector. The guys really should be slowing down a little bit. So he should have been able to make it to the first time he tried. But the stopping and starting just made it so that he had no confidence to get back on the track.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the first things first from Tomic's perspective is it's already a rookie mistake to lose the car in that manner. That's very uncharacteristic for him to do that. I imagine it was him being very aggressive onto the inside. He then clipped the inside corner, going through that long right-hander, and it just threw him off the circuit. And then obviously Yonti coming on through found himself a nice McLaren. Unfortunately, it's not one he can now earn. It's one that's taken him out of this Grand Prix.
Yeah, and as you say, it's nothing really he could have done about it. It's very much a case of the, you know, George Russell a couple of races ago, just coming to the scene of the accident before someone had made the mistake in front of him, and there was no way he could avoid it.
Well, here we go again,
Brownie is just on the back of Get-Owned.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, not only that, Get-Owned is actually close to Yenab too. Yenab is 2 laps further on in these soft compound tyres, and realistically, you've got to be looking towards Get-Owned and Brownie for a P2-3 here.
Yeah, I mean, Yenab could still do this, but I mean, at the rate he's falling behind zones, you would think that he's just not got the pace to maintain a podium this race. He's driven a good race so far, but at the moment, just the sheer delta difference between him and zones screams that he's not got the pace to keep these two behind him.
I'm honestly, I know it's virtual, but that crash has still got me a little bit shook, I'm going to be honest. That was such an insane smash into the side of Tomic there. I'd be very intrigued to get the onboard from Yonti to see what that looked like, because that was honestly horrific. But it has, like you said earlier, really stretched this race wide open. We didn't know how it was going to go down, and now we're in a scenario where Zones is looking like a clear-cut winner unless he gets a puncture, which is very possible because he is 6 laps in already on the softs, and we still have a further 8 laps to go. As here comes Brownie down the inside. No, that's a mistake. That's too aggressive. I don't think he actually intended to be as late as he did, but mistakes were made regardless, and that has caused contact between him and Get-Owned, and Get-Owned, I think, has avoided damage, but that was a very desperate move from him.
Yeah, I mean, Brownie never needed to make that move there. I mean, they can work together to get past Yenab here, and then Brownie's got the tools to play with to get a move on Get-Owned potentially a couple of laps later. That just seemed very brazen. You know, it's not usually like him to run so deep into a braking zone like that, and there was nothing that Get-Owned could do to avoid having a little bit of bumping and grinding with him.
Yep, there ain't nothing wrong with a little bump and grind, as one artist once said, but it almost took Get-Owned's front wing off, and that had been best case scenario. Get-Owned is still here looking for that P2. Brownie realizes, I think this is why he's getting a bit desperate, because he realizes he has that penalty. That penalty that Brownie has is going to be a real problem for him later.
Both Yenab and Get-Owned also have a 3-second penalty.
So all 3 of them have penalty?
All 3 of them have penalties.
Oh, so we're all equal. There's no benefactor for anybody here.
Yep, this is for position. You need to get this move done.
I wonder if Brownie knows that. I should do. They do have race engineers. Each team has their own, so they should all see the same information that my good friend Mr. Badger here is seeing. But it doesn't look like Brownie's getting patient enough. He knows that we're running out of time, but that gap there that he's now built up is going to need to take a considerable amount of his ERS just to close in a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know, he just seems to have, I don't know, flustered himself a little bit. He doesn't seem like he's got the confidence under braking or the under his right foot, so it's unusual. But as you say, he has got the DRS to play with, so he can bring that gap in a little bit. He's going to have DRS right now, so there is still hope he can still get this podium, but it's just looking a little bit shaky for him right now.
Yeah, and had a little look down the inside there on Yenab, but no position swaps as of yet. I do feel that Mr. Badger, before we start getting into the very lively end of this Grand Prix, I think we should have a quick penalty rundown.
Alright, so Zone's sitting completely penalty free and with the fastest lap. Yenab in P2 with 3 seconds, Geon 3 seconds, Brownie 3 seconds, Hune 3 seconds, Rainbow 0, Danico 0, Vanier 3 seconds, Hugo's 0, Dennis 3 seconds, and no one else who is still racing has any penalties.
Well, lots of people who could gain some positions, although Rainbow's a bit too far back. 4.2 is his gap to Hune. Yeah, it's not quite close enough for him. But Yenab, I must say, despite how much we've said he's dropped off the pace of Zones in comparison, he is doing a good job of keeping Geton and Brownie at bay. I feel Yenab has actually figured out the solution. The solution appears to be... Is that Safso, by the way? Yes, it is. Oh, Safso wants nothing to do with it. He's staying well out of the way there. I do not blame him whatsoever. Blue flags are being waved. Safso says, just go. Oh, Brownie, going for a move here again. This is going to be very close between them. Almost come together. Brownie's going to look for the inside line here, but he can't quite get the car rotated enough. Geton does defend, but look at the gap. Geton has almost lost a full second to Yenab. He's going to have to burn all of that ERS, really, to close back in and try and secure a nice, healthy gap between him and Yenab. But he has to watch out because Brownie is honestly a predator right now. He's hunting his prey.
Yep, Brownie's making work right now, and he just needs to keep doing what he's doing. And as you say, it looks like now that they're on the soft compound tyres rather than the hard, that Brownie is the faster in this phase of the Grand Prix. So the shoe is most definitely on the other foot, and Geton needs to get going.
My concern is Brownie must be destroying his tyres to try and close in as quick as he is. He's very quick, there's no doubt about it. He even has a hell of a lot more ERS than what Geton has got. He should really deploy a little bit just to close in that little bit more. I mean, Yenab has got a pretty decent amount too. He's actually better than Geton right now, and that is kind of what is allowing him to stay where he is. But the other benefit that Yenab has got here is because Brownie is constantly trying to fire one on Geton, Yenab is just like, well, look, guys, you just do what you gotta do, right? I'm peacing here. I'm chilling. I'm just gonna stay P2. Don't have to worry about that much. I just have to look after my ERS, and then when you guys get near me, I'll just boop, and I'm out again. See you soon.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job, and you know, Geton there is having to use his ERS defensively rather than offensively, which is meaning that when it comes to the DRS straight, he's not got the tools to play with to attack.
Well, we are running out of laps and Brownie's running out of time. This is going to need to be physical position swaps for these guys to change up the grid order, unless one of them gets another penalty. They all have equal penalties in this P2, 3, 4 battle, but you can tell who is the most desperate right now. Brownie hasn't really burnt that much ERS, so he's decided that now is the chance. He has so much more pace on Geton right now, but Geton clearly running a little bit less wings. Is Brownie going to go for a send down the inside? He's going to look for it. He's going to be laid on the brakes. He's going to go almost into the back. Down the inside into turn 1. Not on the curb. He's going to just about keep himself alongside of him. Geton is going to have to ride around the outside. And Brownie's going to do the same here through turn 4. Geton has ran deep. And Brownie might get the exit he needs here. He cannot get it. And every single time he tries, Geton just pumps out the biggest defense you've ever seen. But Brownie has not stopped trying. He's still committed. He cannot get the move done. Geton is all over the circuit, making his car as wide as possible. And Brownie must be absolutely dripping with sweat right now.
Yeah, he's trying everything. He's using every single millimetre of track available to him to just try and get a move done. But Geton is positioning his car so well, and now the shoe's on the other foot. He's got Yenab's DRS to help him defend. You know, you saw how difficult it was for Geton to get by once when Brownie had the DRS with Vanier. So it's now shoe on the other foot, and Brownie is just seeing just how difficult it is to overtake when you're in this DRS round.
Yeah, and that's the situation and problem he's got to deal with. And I think ultimately the only way he can really change things up a little bit is to burn a little bit more ERS before you get to the exit of the second to last corner. So that awkward right-hander where you've got that chicane and then he comes to the long left-hander in the running up to the second to last corner. That's the bit where he needs to start burning a bit more ERS to close in on Geton and then give it everything on that home straight. He is very, very close. He's had many chances to actually get a move done. And I want to say, like, look, his execution has not been the perfect amount, but he is a man who is determined, he's committed, and so far he's not yet caused any damage to either of the two drivers, or at least nothing visible that we can see. So keep at it, I say. We are on the second to last lap. The zones is much further ahead. 7.5 seconds is where they sit. But this battle for P2, it is absolutely going to the end.
Yep, absolutely. There's, Yenab in front is running out of ERS. He is defending really well with it. He turns it on and blasts up this home straight, but right now he's got nothing left. So this lap or next lap is going to be a real hard task for him, as he's having to have 0%, and Get Owned is now going for the move up the inside. He's just able to make it stick.
Oh, just about.
This is getting tight, and he's just managed to get his nose in front now, and this is going to be hard for Yenab now to just try and burn everything he's got, but neither of these drivers have anything to play with. They're running out of fuel, they're running out of VRS, they've got absolutely nothing left in the tank.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. They know this is do or die moments now, because we are on the final lap. Zones is coming through the final sector, or starting the final sector right in about now-ish. Get Owned is actually starting to build up a gap here to Brownie. So Brownie's actually panicking a little bit. He's thinking, I have to get a move on. I have to close in as quick as I can. But nobody has any ERS to work with. Only Brownie has anything, and he might be able to go for a move here. This is a mistake made from Get Owned and also Yenab, but Brownie needs to get the exit of Dreams as here comes Zones round onto the home straight, crossing the line, will take the win, but who gets P2? It's looking like it's going to be Get Owned. Yenab needs to try and do everything he can. It's a drag race to the line, but I think Get Owned is going to be ahead. Yes, he is. It's Get Owned P2, Yenab P3. Brownie will slot into P4, but it's not from the lack of trying. He gave it his all. Rainbow has actually closed in enough to get that P5 locked in. Oh, what an insane Grand Prix.
That was something special. That really was. Right from the start, right till the end, there was something every lap. That was incredible.
And I also just take a moment to also say, let's be grateful that in sim racing, nobody's lives are actually harmed, because that crash between Tomek and Yonti would have almost certainly resulted in, if not death, severe injury.
Yep, that was definitely a scary moment, and as you say, I would like to see the on board from Yonti, but I don't think they allow snuff films on the internet.
And I also,
been a very, very scary moment.
Can I also say that race was that good? I almost forgot about all of the lobby issues we had earlier on in trying to get this race underway. Get Owned gets the in-game driver of the day, but for you guys in chat, I want to hear from you. Who do you believe deserves driver of the day? You guys mention in the chat, whilst me and my good friend Badger will have a look through the rundown, and then we'll decide our own to go alongside it. But the one person who's very clear-cut the winner here today is absolutely the man Zones here. He gets the race win. In P2, it was Get Owned who made the move on the final lap in towards the turn 1, right as where he had to do it. He had no choice but to wait until that moment and then go for it. Brownie tried his best, but he couldn't beat Yenab, and he stays in P4. Yenab gets the final step.
Yeah, it's an incredible race, and right up and down the field, I think everyone can feel pretty happy with how they've done, other than the few DNFers, but that was racing, unfortunately. Sometimes that happens.
So the rundown is as follows. Obviously, Zone's getting the win, which does help him out massively in terms of the both Drivers and Constructors Championship. Get Owned in P2 will help the Constructors stay a little bit wider, but not that much. Yenab P3, which is great for Williams, for one of them at least. Commiserations to Submit, who opted out of this Grand Prix to ensure we could actually start this one. Brownie gets P4 with Rainbow in P5. Hunit P6. Danico getting P7, and Vania helping his teammate get some more points for the Constructors in P8. Hugo's P9. Dennis not only gets the final point, he also gets the point for the fastest lap. So that's 2 points he's got there for himself. And Safso gets best of the rest. Then Brooke, Tomek, Vexit, and Yonti are your DNFers of the race. And finally, what is, and who is, sorry, your driver of the day?
To be honest, I'm going to agree with the game here. I think Get Owned really deserves that. He had a really difficult race after a poor qualifying session and managed to
find his way through the field and had a good strategy and was just able to make it work. Obviously, I think Zones done an incredible job from start to finish, but I think Get Owned worked the hardest to get up to the podium position that he managed to get.
Well, it's interview time, and let's start with the first, being Yenab, who did finish in P3 after a very sweaty Grand Prix. Yenab, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, but as you said, the race was sweaty. I actually had sweat going into my eyes, and my right eye was burning in the last 5 laps. So that
man.
wasn't quite so nice. I had to get a tissue after the race and get that stuff sorted.
But I mean, look,
But,
let's look at the important bit. You did manage to secure a P3 for your team. Obviously, somebody did have to step out of the Grand Prix in order to, well, he opted to do that in order for us to get this underway. So, again, massive thank you to him for that. But commiserations in the fact that you managed to secure some big points for your team.
Yeah, I'm obviously very happy with that. It's very unfortunate with some idiot, but yeah, big thank you to him for, like, he could have been pissed and just go away, but he adjusted me the whole race. So that was very nice. And yeah, I don't know. The start was going very well because I managed to get past Vanya after 3 laps, I think, and then he was holding up Brownie etc. Like the guys behind Brownie Get Owned, I think. He was holding them up, costing them time, and I was able to pull a little bit of a gap. And yeah, that gap was very helpful at the end of the race, because otherwise I would have catched earlier. And who knows, maybe actually there's a P2 still in it, because I think I can get my penalty removed. The game gave me a triple warning when I went into the pit lane, just crossing the track limits there at the entry, and gave me an instant triple warning. So I don't know about Get Owned, maybe he can get his penalty removed as well, but was a hell of an overtake anyways from him in the last lap. I thought I was on the outside. I thought outside is better for turn 1 because you can brake so much later, but he managed to make a very fantastic overtake, simply as that.
So, I mean, look, the gap between you and Zones was a bit too big, but there's obviously there's a potential there. Then you could move up to P2 if that penalty is removed. So we'll see whether, when the stewards review it, whether or not it can be, and you know, potentially an additional position gained. That would be fantastic to see. But I want to look at next race. That's the thing I want to touch on the most. Next race is coming up. I need to remind myself of what it is, but I think this is a race, because I think this is Spain, right? Am I right? Yeah. So if it is Spain, then this is a track where you might actually be able to do work here, right?
I know, we have to see. I had a league race in Spain already, and that was going pretty well, but I don't know if I will actually race in Spain or not, because I decided that I will, like, even before this race, I decided that I will retire from this league to Monaco, basically because university starts then, and because I feel like I'm having too many leagues right now. I have to get a little bit of extra time, basically. So basically the decision I made is that I will retire, that I won't race in Monaco, and then we find another driver until Monaco, basically. And I don't know if I will race Spain or not. I'm confident racing there, for sure, but we will see, like, how things go. I can't promise right now to race there. If I race, I think it will be good. But let's see.
Yeah. Well, either way, regardless whether you decide to do, we are appreciative of your time spent with us. It's been an absolute blast to commentate for you, especially today. And
yeah, it's not over. I want to also say I will stay in this league. I will still be Jeffing, and I will still be the reserve driver. So whenever Idiot maybe can't race, whenever the new driver can't race, then I will jump in. It's just that I can't do it full time anymore. But I will stay in this league. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations on your P3, potentially a P2, and I look forward to seeing you race next week in the Spanish Grand Prix.
Yeah, and thank you for the league. It's I'm really happy with this league, and yeah, it's really nice to have this as a potential last race, a podium. Big success as the last race. Would be a fantastic story, I think.
Trust me, it's my pleasure. Thank you, mate.
Yeah, thank you.
See you soon.
See you.
And now we'll bring in our P2 Although, if that penalty does get removed, could be a potential P3. So we'll see what the stewards say, but get earned. What a sweat that was.
Yeah, quite unexpected podium, to say.
Well, I mean, let's start off with your qualifying. It was wet in the qualifying, which kind of didn't help, and it looked like you were starting to struggle in there. What went wrong in the quali for you to qualify so far down?
I got front wing damage on my last lap. So yeah, I could have started higher up, but I'm not that confident in the wet yet. So yeah, I mean, was a bad starting position, but I got a lightning start. Yeah. So all good, I guess.
I mean, then obviously the race started. You had been dealt a lifeline because the initial race that we did start, you actually suffered quite badly on the first lap. You got wing damage, and that pushed you right the way down the order. And then coming into it later, we obviously went again, and then you learned from those situations, and it massively gained at the very beginning.
Yeah. I think I could have be at the front, like fighting Zones and Tomek on race pace wise, but yeah, I was starting like way behind, and then I was stuck in the train. Yeah, then I just pushed like crazy when I was behind Brownie. It was just really important for me to get past him and get the clean air, because I think on raw pace I was faster. And in the end, yeah, I mean, I got a 3-second penalty in the pit lane because of the glitch. I instantly got 3 warnings. I could remove the penalty, but yeah, I don't really care. And then obviously, I overtook Janab on the penultimate lap. Yeah, made it stick. It was like a really close fight at the end. Everyone was really like gambling with his ERS, when to use it and when not. And I just could see every time like Brownie was using his ERS, and I also had to use my ERS, and it was like strategy battle at the end, and I think I managed it the best. And yeah, I'm actually really happy to get P2. I'm a bit sorry for Tomek. I think he should have won the race, but I don't really know what happened with him. Yeah.
Would you like me to update you?
Yeah, sure.
So he made a mistake coming through the long, sweepy right-hander. I assume that's what happened. His back end must have stepped. He then went off the circuit. He then tried to rejoin the circuit. He stopped, waited for a load of cars to go through. There was a gap. He then started going, but it looked to me like he didn't quite expect the tires to spin as much as they did, and he couldn't quite get the traction out of it. So when he did eventually pull out of the gravel, it was already too late, and Yonti went straight into the back of him and then ended his race.
Yeah, sad. I think we could have had a double podium again, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just sad. But yeah, I mean, still a good result, P2.
Yeah,
for the team, and yeah.
Well, on the topic of good results, next week is Spain. Is that a circuit you're good at? Can you get another good result there?
Oh, definitely better than Zandvoort. At least I know the track, the layout, and I think it's a good track, a flowing track. I really like it. Yeah, let's see. We'll give my best, and yeah.
Well, congratulations again on your P2, at least until the stewards have a review on whether or not Yenab has a penalty removed or not. But not only did you get a P2 today, you also got in-game and commentators driver of the day. So congratulations for that. Well done on your performance. You absolutely nailed it. And I want to see more from you next week in Spain, okay?
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much.
Promise me a P1, yeah?
Yeah, okay.
No, seriously, congratulations. I look forward to seeing you next week.
All right. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And last but not least, we have the race winner himself. I think there was a point of time where it was a bit uncertain whether or not Zoz was going to win. And then Tomek really had a bit of an issue that took him out of the Grand Prix. And suddenly, Zones could just sit back and relax. How did that race feel for you, Zones?
Yeah, that race was so nice. A lot of action. Yeah, my quali was was fine enough to P2, so I was happy about that. Yeah, in the race, I decided to choose medium to soft strategy because I feel it's faster, and yeah, on the first lap I overtook Tomek, which was very important because there is so hard to overtake on this track, so that was important. Then I pull it away from Tomek for like 2 seconds and keeping that to lap 15, I guess. Then Tomek started to catch me. Yeah, and he was in the RS. He tried to overtake me, but I can imagine he was angry about that he couldn't overtake me. So yeah, and it was lap 21, I think, when Tomek tried to overtake me, and he just turned into me at the exit of turn 1. Then he broke his wing. Yeah, and then started to his race started to fall. Yeah, and pit lap 21. Then on lap 22, my game crashed, which was pretty. I don't know how to call it.
I mean, it was. Let's be honest. It was a very difficult...
Unexpected. That was.
Yeah. I mean, it was a very difficult, sweaty race, at least up until the point of when he came into the pits. And then I imagine you expected it to be very difficult on the last bit, knowing that you were on the softs, you were going to be faster, but you were surely going to be struggling when it came to maintaining your race pace, because obviously Tomek was going to go onto the medium tires and then carry that through to the end of the race, which would have made it very difficult for you to maintain race win when the tires started to drop off later on. Obviously, you didn't have to worry about that in the end, which was quite lucky in your respect, but surely you got to take some lessons from that and look at the next one.
Yes, indeed.
Well, I mean, look, you absolutely nailed it today. You got the race win. It is massively well done to you. But next week is Spain. Am I expecting another win from you?
I haven't practiced it yet. Tomorrow I have league race, so we will see what I can show. But top 5, I think, is possible easily.
Well, again, congratulations on your win. I look forward to commentating you in Spain next week.
Yeah, see you.
See you soon. Thank you. And that is it for the Rwagnation League Grand Prix here in Zandvoort. It has been very much a roller coaster of emotions. It started off pretty rough when it came to the set up the lobbies, but we did finally get it underway. Now, thank you, as always, Mr. Badger, for commentating alongside me. It is a pleasure every time I'm in the commentary box with you, and I couldn't think of anyone else I would want with me more.
You're a wee sweetheart.
We'll see you next week for the Spanish GP.